Hello and welcome to episode 1 of Launders Matchmaking Survival Guide with me, Launders. Today we're going to talk about the value of roles in Counter-Strike, starting with lurking. So unlike with Overwatch or Dota, where your characters have set roles and abilities, in Counter-Strike, anyone can buy whatever gun they want and use it just like anyone else. However, if you want to be a real team, it might not make as much sense for, say, Furious George here to buy himself a sniper rifle when he's got Scopezilla on his team, who clearly specializes in opping. Instead, our friend Furious George might be better off throwing grenades or calling strats, so maybe everyone's better off if he's helping Scopezilla safely get a kill, rather than trying to find one himself. And that's kind of the point of roles, making the most of each teammate for the greater cause of winning the round as opposed to just getting a kill. We mentioned a couple of roles there in opping and supporting, but what's lurking? Well, lurking can be crudely described as a terrorist job where you bait your teammates to get kills on unprepared counter-terrorists. In reality, lurking is much more dynamic and requires a good feel for the game, but that's the gist of it. So what is a good lurker? Well, there are certainly a few outstanding qualities. A good lurker, for example, communicates with the utmost efficiency. They have the experience to make risky calls about how many players are left on a site with very little information. They can keep track of what grenades may be left and keep teammates in the loop about if it makes sense to hit the site, meaning that if they're wrong, well, there's no one else to blame. A bad one, however, sits around, pushes without saying anything, or doesn't ever take a risk because they are unaware or scared. A good lurker also knows when it's time to flank. If it's too late, your teammates can die when a lurker could have prevented it. If it's too soon, you lose the round because the other team sees they've killed a player who's always alone, and then they use that information to rotate. The upside of lurking is that you get plenty of kills for free, lots of spotlight from winning clutch situations, and the knowledge that your team is heavily reliant on you for information. On the downside though, there's a lot of pressure on you to perform and many ways that you can mess up. You'll quickly find that this role has a bad reputation in matchmaking because it's something everybody wants to do. Early on in CSGO, the two best players in the game were GetRight and Doja. Now both these players were superstars in their teams and also both lurkers. As time went on, it became hard to keep their style as it was, and they've had to add more complexities and nuance to the way they play. These days, the average player has gotten a lot better at Counter-Strike, but it certainly speaks to the difficulty of the job that very few players in the world are known for being good at it. As a matchmaker, you're definitely going to have some off games trying to lurk, so watching demos will be your best friend in improving.